At both of the presentations I did recently, a parent asked me specifically, but like, aren't there safer options? Like, you're telling me that the only options for my kid is Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok. Like, why aren't there any safer options? A dad asked me that in Napa last week, and then a dad asked me that in Nashville this week. And I tell them, like, I think that something is coming. I think some things are coming. Like, people that are actually good people are working on that. There are other people that are creating platforms that are kind of playing off of the need for a safe social media platform that aren't actually safe, in my opinion. But I feel really good about you and like what you're creating. And so that's what we're going to learn about today. Because we can talk about like laws all day, but it's just been failing, and we need to be able to, we're not going to regulate our way out of it. And when it comes to online safety, like, we have to create something for our kids that can make them feel good. So anyway, Nick, thank you for being here.
Great to be here, Nicki. Us Nicks and Nickies got to stick together.
I know. N-I-C-Ks, right? Everyone's always like, N-I-K-K? I know.
I was Nicki until, a certain age, and I was like, it's...
Oh, cute. Are you Italian?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm half Italian.
Me too.
Okay.
Nick and Nicki, half Italian. Okay. Good.
Yeah. My dad's full Italian. Is it your dad?
Me too.
Okay.
My dad, yeah, he looks so Italian.
Yeah.
My dad's nose is ridiculous.
Me too. Does he make anything good? Like any food, Italian food?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
I mean,
he's not snooty like that. Like, we went to like Olive Garden and stuff growing up.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. His brother was ultra snooty. So I think his brother was such a big personality.
Mm-hmm.
They had some mafia ties. My dad was like the good one in the family. So
yeah. We had like pizza places was our like family business. So it was like our grandma's sauce recipe, and I try to make her raviolis every Christmas, and it takes literally 8 hours. It's insane.
Yeah, well, my mom makes her own sauce.
Oh, good, yeah.
All that. Yeah. My brother. So I mean, we at least draw a line there on the sauce. But...
Yeah. And I'm like a pizza snob. I can't have like Pizza Hut or anything.
Don't get me started on.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, what should we talk about, Nicki?
So we're going to talk about what you've created. So it's called Up, and I want to, as I'm being asked, like, are there safer options coming regarding social media? I think of you and your solutions. So that's what I want to introduce parents to today. And you say that you've created a new kind of social media that actually makes you feel better. And so tell me about Up, and then I just have some like specific questions to dig into it for parents.
Yeah. So, it's a science-backed solution to everybody's problems right now, including mine. As a parent and a consumer of social media, we could go on and on and on. And I'm happy to talk. If you want to complain about big tech, we can. But I love that conversation. But because we got some serious dirt on them, because we basically set out to build the solution to the problem here. Social media, used to be really social, 2004 to 2010. And then it was like the highlight reel era, 2010 to 2020. Mm-hmm. And now we're in the doom scroll era, 2020 to 2025. And it's like, oh, hold on. Like, it got really crazy on us. And I'm explaining our product to some of these type of, people in that world, legislator, whatever, capital people, whatever. Yeah. It just requires so much dang education to get them up to speed as to what's going on. Mm-hmm. I was like the ultimate Instagram douchebag in high school and college, just like falling into the highlight reel era in a hardcore way, mm-hmm. as a Division I athlete. Mm-hmm. And so I definitely know like the harms and the dangers. I started having kids, and a lot of things changed. We got married, started having kids, and my values are just driving me so much. I've had a couple opportunities to have sort of, retire at 29 money, retire at 30 money, and walked mm-hmm. away from them because money doesn't matter to me. I just want to make an impact on this world. My currency is impact, and mm-hmm. I have a 2-year-old daughter that I carry up to her crib every night, and I tell her that she's, beautiful, and she's smart, and she's sweet, and she's friendly, and she's caring, and she gives, and she loves others. And so the thought that I'm going to turn her over to one of these algorithms once she gets a phone, and they're going to tell her that she has body issues and that nobody likes her and she's alone and all of her friends hate her or whatever, she's not pretty enough, that's not going to happen. So
No.
I'm in like total dad of toddler mode where I'm like, I'm going to straight up, I'm going to kill somebody if they do that to my daughter or treat her that way or make her want to kill herself. So,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit like gloves off. And, as we've been building this thing, Nikki, you have to build it in a certain way. You have to, but it's top to bottom different. We've made so many decisions already that we could
Hmm.
have made the selfish decision, but we're going to make the decision that, uplifts people, empowers people,
Mm.
makes them feel good. These companies are so selfish you couldn't even possibly imagine. Like, I don't know how they sleep at night. And,
Hmm.
they don't let their kids use the apps. That's kind of like one of the big things. I was talking to a major executive at TikTok recently, and that was one of their questions they asked some of the ByteDance founders was like, well, do your kids use these apps? And they said no. And, notoriously, that's like kind of the thing. The
Yeah.
stigma is they don't let their own kids use it. So, it's, again, you had some people a lot smarter than me point out the problems, and you're one of those. And Jonathan Haidt and
Hmm.
just was talking with Laura Morton this morning, who did Anxious Nation a couple years
Mm.
ago. I
Hmm.
don't know if you know her, but and we're working on our documentary social solution here,
Oh, cool.
and potentially a book here. But no, yeah, I mean, it's totally doable. It's been done. Our algorithm
Mhm.
is testing through the roof. You wouldn't imagine it. I can show you some data, but this is just cold hard science backed data here. It's not like anybody's opinion. It's not like, hey, how do you feel 1 through 10?
Yeah.
It's like, the brain scans, the heart rate, but you can really tell the most from biometric scanning. So that's scanning the face while they watch content. Every
Mm.
single second, Nikki, we can get 30 readings on emotions. And to think that that technology is being used to harm us is really
Right.
insane, you know?
Yeah. Explain that. These social media platforms are also paying attention to our reactions, right? And scanning us like as we're absorbing their algorithms. And then how are they using that data?
Yeah. So if you go to TikTok, like Google, like TikTok's terms of service, or ask ChatGPT to find this section, and just look for biometric scanning, you'll see what they're doing from a biometric standpoint. And what they're doing, it's really incredible how much you can read off someone's face. And
Hmm.
we know that as humans that talk to each other. But the idea that these sort of supercomputers and AI can also have some ideas of human perception. And what they do, everything they do is to maximize time spent. That's their big KPI. So you get your raises at TikTok or Meta if you maximize time spent.
Hmm.
And so that means how many minutes do you spend each day on the app? And they've created this scenario where creators are even maximizing for time spent. It's like you go to Michael Jackson in his prime and you're like, hey, what do you want with your music? He's saying, I want to move people. I want to make people feel something. I want to inspire people.
Hmm.
He's not saying, I want them to watch my YouTube, my music videos until the very end or whatever.
Right. Right.
He just wants to make it used to be about impact. When you're making a
Hmm.
movie, you factor in how it's going to make people feel and
Hmm.
what it's going to make them think about and what they're going to take away at the end. But the social apps, I call them legacy social apps, built by pretty much boomers at this point,
Hmm.
that don't even have their own kids. Here's Teen.
Oh, hi.
Say anything to
Hi. Hi.
Are you too?
Hi. Hi, nice to meet you.
That's
I'll cut
Teeny.
that.
Yeah, Teeny. That was my Italian great grandma's name.
Teeny. What was
Yeah,
it?
she's the one that came over Ellis Island.
Yeah. What was it derived? Like, is there a longer version of that?
Tinnie. It was the most popular name in the 1910s in Italy.
Oh, really? Okay.
Nickname.
Interesting.
Yeah, Teeny.
I
So
love
yeah,
that.
I mean, I
Okay.
have a
Sorry.
daughter named Teeny.
Yeah.
She's my background, and I look forward to seeing her every day. It's like
Yeah.
And she's so cute. And so, yeah, I'm building it for her. I started building it for her, and then I started working on it, and I learned,
Mhm.
well, there's a lot of other parents that want this for these kids. And then I started, you talk to middle schoolers and high schoolers and college age students and even millennials and some
Mhm.
Xers, and everybody kind of wants, maybe they're not going to fully replace their
Mhm.
Instagram or TikTok. That's fine. But to have an option where you feel great when you're
Yeah.
done, like non-regrettable minutes, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so the market's responding so well to what we're doing, and I could talk about some of the details, obviously.
How do the algorithms differ? So we have, the legacy platforms, you call them, that have the algorithms that focus on maximum time spent. So they want you on as long as possible. And for whatever reason, that means they're serving you like the worst type of content that keeps kids on longer. So what's the difference between their algorithm and Up's algorithm?
Sure. So, our biometric strategy, which is kind of reading how your face, is not about time spent. It's about maximizing how good you feel, and also maximizing things you're interested in. We also are very ethical from a data privacy standpoint, in that it starts off. So our setting starts off, and we will allow users to opt on what we're calling Happy Cam, which we just got our trademark back on yesterday, but
Hmm. Cute.
Happy Cam TM.
Hmm.
Um, but when you opt on Happy Cam, you'll basically have a super optimized feed to make sure that it's very inspiring, empowering, uplifting for you.
Hmm.
And what it will do is it will use your front facing camera while you're watching some pieces of content. And again, this is a very small subset of users, very small. So just like polling, you don't have to ask 200 million people who they're going to vote for. You ask like 1,500 or 1,200, and you
Hmm.
adjust for the sample. And this is being done, by the way, already with most major advertisers. So before they run an ad on the TV or social media, they're doing this manual process to figure out how that ad's going to make people feel. And, movies are doing this and things. So this is not new technology, and social media is doing it. So we're
Hmm.
not innovating with this technology. What we are doing is, everything at Up is about scroll happy. So scroll happy is the opposite of doom scroll. So it's like scrolling to death, and it's like, yes, that is what you're doing on those platforms. That's what doom
Hmm.
scroll is all about. The Webster's Dictionary word of the year in 2022, I believe, doom scroll. So we're scroll happy. Scroll happy is the opposite.
Yeah.
And so everything we are going to do is going to be, how can we uplift you, inspire you, and show you things that are interesting to you, and in moderation. And you really don't have to worry about the moderation thing, although we are going to put some things in place to ensure that.
Hmm.
But you don't really sit there and crush 12 bananas, or 6 protein shakes, or 8 steaks or whatever. But you can sit there, and if you train yourself, you can crush 6 Milky Ways, and 12 Twinkies, and a bag of Doritos and all this
Sure.
stuff. It's like the worst stuff for us in human nature, we can typically binge. It's like why you see people not smoke 3 cigarettes, but they're smoking 60
Mm.
cigarettes or 30, like
Yeah.
my grandma used to do.
Hmm.
And so it's nothing different than just classic exploitative business people preying on human nature. And I can
Hmm.
show you an example, and I don't know if you need to keep this in that. Should I screen share here, Nikki?
Yeah,
Show
you
you
can.
some data.
Yep. Yeah.
So I'm going to show you some data. And before I start overwhelming you, because just remember that TikTok and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, they got their KPI, which is time spent. How many minutes can I keep Nicki or Nick on this app per
Hmm.
day? That's
Hmm.
what they're getting their raises for. And what I've learned recently, Nicki, that really just dawned on me a few months ago is, oh my gosh, wow. They not only want you to maximize time spent, so like, the data, girls are, young girls 5.2 hours a day, young boys 4.8 hours a day,
Hmm.
but they also want you to scroll as fast as possible. So they really, and the reason is because if you sit and watch a video on TikTok for 5 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever, they haven't been able to show you an ad in 3 minutes. And they're showing you an ad every 4th to 7th video. And so that you're costing them server dollars. You're costing them money because you're watching something you're really interested in, and that really
Hmm.
inspires you and uplifts you,
Yeah.
like a keynote or whatever.
Right.
And so you're watching this long thing, and they're saying, oh, like, why'd you have to get interested in that?
Mhm.
Like, keep scrolling. And, what they really want is they want you to see an ad every 30, 45 seconds rather than every, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And so they're doing it every 4 to 7th video. So
Mhm.
they're rewarding people for two things. One is time spent and two is scroll speed. And the only way you get people to spend 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day and scrolling fast where they're not actually interested in the content
Mhm.
is you have to turn them into zombies.
Mhm.
And so that's where we got really into the brain data. That's where the neuroscientists on our team have been really, really freaking out because it's
Mhm.
like we're doing these brain scans and these brains are like dead, Nikki. Like they haven't seen brains like this. They're like these zombie brains. And, but they're different. Like my brain, for example, when I'm watching, and you got to remember my feed, TikTok knows everything about me before I even get on. Instagram knows everything about me even before I get on. So
Mhm.
they know that I have a 2-year-old daughter and they know she's blonde and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
so they'll show me, a 14-year-old blonde girl, getting arrested or whatever. And I'll have this sort of panicky feeling. And so with me, it was a severe stress in the panic part of my brain. Like as a, adult male, I'm sensing, like when a bear comes to my campfire or something like that. It's
Yeah.
like I'm total panic mode, like I need to defend my family. And
Yeah.
so that was the part in my brain that was really, really active and highly stressed. And
Hmm.
they were just talking about how, you know, crazy that is.
Yeah.
But what we've noticed with the young people, Gen Z and Gen Alphas, their brain gets in this very, very blue or chill or like depressed state
Hmm.
compared to baseline and compared to the up feed. And, I'm like, why do they want that? Why do they want content that sort of hooks you, but you don't actually like?
Mhm.
And then it really dawned on me, wow, okay, yeah, they want her to make $277 a year revenue versus,
Yeah.
120. And it's a machine, it's like a machine has one job, maximize profit. It's like, who are you going to email? Okay, so TikTok shows your 13-year-old 10,000 weight loss videos in 2 weeks, which Jonathan Haidt points out, an anxious generation from the Wall
Yeah.
Street Journal study is like, who are you going to get mad at? You're going to email like support at meta.com or tiktok.com? Like
Yeah.
nobody's answering that email.
No.
And it's like, so it almost feels like we're defenseless
Yeah.
and like all we can do is sound the alarm, but we can't do something about it. But the truth is that's not true. And if you look at, there's a really famous artist that did a Silicon Valley painting that I just love, and it just shows the evolution of Silicon Valley and tech, where every 30 years there's like this sort of renaissance. And,
Mhm.
the old big players that were in charge, they're out and the new boys are in.
Yeah.
And so we're still in this sort of like the same culture from 2004 Zuckerberg, comparing who's the hottest chick in his class or whatever as a Harvard student,
Right.
and then you got
Snapchat.
Instagram, for example. Instagram didn't even have DMs until Zuckerberg bought it, and the founders were extremely worried about sex trafficking and gun violence and these things. And, I made a good friend with someone that was his right hand, Kevin Systrom, for a while at Instagram. And he
Mhm.
was really discouraged when Zuck and the crew took over and they implemented those practices from the highlight reel era. So anyway, I wanted to make sure I could complain all day, Nikki, and I really love to make fun of big tech, but we have built a solution and it's really exciting and it's backed by science and data. And it's
Yeah.
scrollhappy.com. You can jump on the wait list and figure out how you can be part of it. Scrollhappy.com. We have some
Oh,
up app domains, but I just thought, man, let's just go with
I like
scrollhappy.com. And
I like that a lot.
how are all these things available? You're going up against $1 trillion company. They're just not thinking about Scroll Happy. It's just the opposite of what they value.
Yeah. No, they don't seem to care about that at all. And it is time for that renaissance for sure. Like I love hearing you say that because you have Zuckerberg who created it to like rate women, and then you have Evan Spiegel of Snap who created it to just Snapchat to just hide nude images or be
Yeah.
able to send nude images and have them disappear. Like these all started from that baseline of harm and like
Yeah.
anonymity and
Yeah.
like bad stuff, yucky stuff, and they're still yucky, and um but let me ask you a couple of questions that came up for me. I want to cover if parents are wondering about like the biometric scanning.
Yeah.
Parents worry about like data privacy or like the
Yeah.
privacy of their kids' faces being scanned. So how do you address that?
Yeah. So it's off. It starts off. And so, yeah, unlike TikTok and most likely Instagram,
Mhm.
Meta's a little bit sneakier about how they talk about biometric. Basically, they said um, in 2022 they announced we're going to start doing biometric scanning for metaverse practices, basically. And so you don't know
Uh-huh.
if they're doing it on they said they were doing it, and they're a little craftier. And TikTok's comically is just like right there. It's like
Yeah.
we're using your microphone and your face, which is
Yeah.
just it's great. So call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. You don't even have to point it out.
Okay.
So how we're handling it is it starts off Happy Cam. We are allowing, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 of our users to use Happy Cam. And what we get to do then is score every video based on how it makes you feel. And
Mhm.
then we can build an algorithm that will show content to a 16-year-old girl that makes her feel inspired or empowered or happy,
Yeah.
and remove content that makes her feel scared or disgusted or fearful
Mhm.
or whatever, or
Mhm.
angry. The other thing that we're doing is we've removed all the sensational categories that are like just black and white bad,
Yeah,
and
good. Okay.
stuff you would never have in a film, or TV. TV has regulations, advertising has regulations, film industry, everything's sort of regulated
Yeah.
for social media.
Right.
And so, fighting, like aggressive fighting content, I can show you how poorly that um,
Mhm.
does in our algorithm. It does good on their algorithm because you might be glued to it, just like you might
Yeah.
stare at a car crash.
Yeah.
Or, if you find out someone you love dies, you might think about that for a while and dwell on that and be sad for a
Mhm.
while. That doesn't mean the algorithm should keep showing you things that make you sad forever. But again, they have this old boomer technology that just optimizes for time spent. It's a very, very inefficient tactic. And you've heard Jonathan Haidt talk about that as well, that when you optimize for time spent,
Mhm.
it's going to gravitate to these things. So no porn at all.
Mhm.
No unwanted nudity. 37% of middle school girls are seeing unwanted nudity once a week on Instagram. Zuckerberg admitted to that stat on Capitol Hill.
Mhm.
Um, and no extreme weight loss content, no anorexia content. And I can tell you how we're doing this from a systematic standpoint.
Mhm.
Um, but none of those things fit Scroll Happy, and they all test really poorly. And then the other big one we're doing is no politics, no political
Mm.
content.
Okay.
It
Interesting.
scores really, really terribly on the Scroll Happy algorithm.
Yeah.
If you want your politics, you go to Blue Sky, you go to X.
Mhm.
Generally when you're looking at YouTube Shorts or TikToks or Instagram Reels, you're really not there for politics
No.
anyway.
Right.
It's just sort of they're just using a debate. Just like you've never gone onto Instagram and say, "I want to watch a fighting video today," or "I want to see
Mhm.
some unwanted." No middle school girls saying, "I want to see unwanted nudity." On Instagram, but they're
No.
seeing it. And
Yeah.
I don't think any 13-year-old girl is saying, "I'm seeking out 10,000 weight loss videos in 2 weeks,"
No,
like
definitely not.
TikTok might show. So we're showing you all the top shelf things. So I got a bookshelf behind me, Nikki. This is how I explain it. Like top shelf, that's who you came for. That's
Mhm.
your fashion content, that's your sports content, that's your
Mhm.
Ryan Trahan. We talked to his team yesterday. Zach King. Um, these are your really Peter Hollins, who we're meeting with in a couple hours. Great
Uh-huh.
guy, singing creator. But like, that's the content you come for. You come for the top shelf, the stuff
Yeah.
that's like funny and entertaining and educating.
Right.
Animal videos, cute things pick me up. And when you survey people, that's why they're on TikTok. That's why they're on Instagram. It's like, young people, they're like, well, I love cute stuff.
Yeah.
Sue me. And, the truth is they're not just seeing cute stuff.
Mhm.
And if they were seeing cute stuff, there would be no reason for Scroll Happy and I wouldn't be wasting my time.
Right.
But the truth is they sell you on the cheap stuff. Then they release the political unrest. Then it's
Mhm.
the body issues. Then it's the porn. It's the fighting videos. It's all the
Yeah.
bottom shelf, just crap that everybody in the world knows is crap. And, the thing is, Nicki, people like that stuff. And, TikTok, Meta, they're always going to be bigger than us. But what we're doing is saying, look, there is a subset of people in this world. Like there's a
Mhm.
crazy stat, 1 billion people tried to detox from social media in the last year. The next biggest thing that
Wow.
people tried to quit on earth, cigarettes, 700 million. So 30% bigger vice that people are dealing with than cigarettes.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And, with cigarettes, we can see it, right? We can do the scans. We can see your lungs are getting, effed up. We had the, Surgeon General came out in 1964 and said, hey, it's killing people.
Mm-hmm.
And, we didn't listen to that for a while. And now we had the Surgeon General come out last year and say, hey, look, social media is killing people and isolation is our number one issue. And so it's going to take us a while.
Yeah.
But what we're doing is we're putting a spotlight on it saying, okay, maybe it's not as obvious as cigarettes, but this is killing people, like a lot of people, like a lot.
Yeah.
The high school suicide attempt rate from Jed Foundation, 10%. Are you kidding me?
That's like crazy when you talk about that.
It's ridiculous. So it's like, look, there's a subset, Nicki, of people that want goodness. There's a subset of people that don't want to go walk in the store with the triple X on the sign. There's a subset of people that don't want to see fighting videos and bombings and all this stuff, or some sort of political video that gets you all fired up and angry at your sister or your brother or whatever. And I've lived every single one of these things.
Yeah.
I've lived them. And I have these unique experiences that have led up to me being so on fire to build up to solve my personal problems and my family's problems, but then do it for others as well. So we're just that top shelf. And to do that, you have to gatekeep creators and you have to gatekeep content. So we're an exclusive platform. Yeah.
What would you rate? So if you had to give the content like a rating, like a movie rating, so I, maybe let my kids watch PG or some PG-13 movies, can you give it a rating?
Yeah. So, they have PG-13 standards, right? No F word, no C word.
Okay.
They have their rules. So we align with PG-13 standards.
Cool. Okay.
From all those fronts, but we really take it a lot further.
Yeah.
We really take it a lot further than that. We have a very robust parent account. So if you have a 12 or under,
okay,
and not like the BS parent account from Instagram or anything like that. No knock on Instagram, but again, they're optimizing for time spent. They have 6,000 institutional shareholders. I don't have a single institutional shareholder to answer to, and we've already turned down a lot of money offered from people that wanted to take us down that road. And you're right, Nicki. I mean, there will be a lot of startups that try to ride on the wave of the TikTok negativity and do the same old thing, packaged a different way because they want to make money. I don't care at all about money. I have the perfect life. I have another business that pays my bills. I'm in a great spot. I love my family.
Yeah.
That Harvard study that says, this was from like 7 or 8 years ago when I was doing my MBA, but after 70,000, you start becoming less happy. Actually, now it's probably 120,000.
Yeah.
In the Midwest, but I am max happy right now. I love my life, love my family. I want to build a real solution. I would give it a PG-13 rating, but parents will be able to add other tools. It's crazy what you can do with AI now, Nicki.
Yeah.
This won't be on the V1, but parents eventually will be able to get in and say, okay, B word, I'm not comfortable with that. This language, and the AI can in real time change that word in the creator's voice. It's really incredible what we can do now.
Whoa.
So
change the word in the video that the content creator had created?
That's right.
Shut up.
The tools that have been used to manipulate us, they can also be used to uplift us and empower us and inspire us.
And it's just the fact that there is still drug content on Snapchat, for example, when we know very well that the AI technology exists to wipe all that stuff. For example, or nudity, child sexual abuse material. It just highlights the opportunities that they're not taking to protect kids.
Yeah, they did the gun one, but you got to remember, these are the most flip-floppy values people. I mean, give me a break. I mean, look at the 180 Zuckerberg just did, and he'll do another 180 in 4 years or whatever. But these are people that are not driven by their values. And if they were, they never would have implemented DMs on Instagram like Kevin didn't want to. But yeah, they'll get rid of guns because, universally in Silicon Valley, guns were just universally bad, and everybody, so it was climate and guns and all this stuff is that's what they're very passionate about. And that's fine. And I have nothing wrong with getting rid of guns and DMs. You should get rid of guns and DMs, but why not the genitalia?
Right.
But, it's a dollars and cents thing, Nicki. And you got to remember, there's no political pressure and there's no free market pressure. So they're just going to keep doing it, and their lobbyists are going to just keep spinning it, and they're going to, and So people like you that got the megaphone and letting people know that's what we needed. And then, people like me learn from people like you, and I'm a builder, and I'm a fixer, and I'm a doer, and I'm an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And we've built a solution that is extremely exciting. The data is completely on our side. There's
Mhm.
absolutely zero of that content. We're not going to open with DMs, and we're not going to open with comments. We will roll
Thank
out
you. Yeah.
comments.
Okay.
We'll roll out comments. And I'll tell you a story. We got a really senior engineer from Meta, really senior, like right at the top.
Mhm.
And he was in charge of cleaning up Facebook groups globally. And, you got all these engineers at your disposal. You got 750 people making, 500,000 a year. You got the smartest people on earth. You got all the data you could ever ask for, and you got all the cash you can ask for. And his job is, hey, go make Facebook groups cleaner.
Okay.
And, he told me a story. He said two powerful things to me. I'll tell you the first one. His wife told me, as soon as your kid gets on social media, it's the end of their childhood. And, that's his wife on the phone. And I'm thinking, okay, she's on board with Up. Like, he's all in,
Mhm. Yeah.
the family's dialed in,
Yeah.
and this guy took a humongous pay cut, almost 80%, to work with me on this. And you know why? It's because he'll die for this mission, just like me. It's
Mhm.
like, well, are you willing to die for, your own kids? Yes, I am. Well, how about every 1% of the market, we can prevent 3.5 million suicide attempts a year? How does that sound? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's fix this thing. It's broken. Let's fix it. Let's give the world a solution. So he
Mhm.
told me this powerful story. He said, let's say you get in there and you say, okay, Dora the Explorer, she's good, right? Dora's
Mm.
good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure. Yeah.
Dora's definitely on the green checklist. Okay,
Yeah.
this is what they'll do. They'll take Dora. They'll use AI. They'll make a video where she's shooting up some school. So
Mhm.
she got through your filter. Yeah, it's like,
Yep.
Dora's good, right? She's shooting up the school in this video. And then you go to ban that account. They'll spin up 50 more accounts in Pakistan, in 20 minutes. And they're making these videos. You can make 50 videos in a minute with AI now. And that's only going to get more and more. So he told me this powerful line. He said, after 4 years and unlimited money and unlimited data and the smartest guys on earth, I could not clean this up. And he said, it's impossible to blacklist evil, but I think we can whitelist good. And that's a very powerful thing, is like, if
Mhm.
everything's allowed and anyone can post at any given time and any AI can access, and you can spin up thousands of accounts and bots, it can never be clean. It can never
Mhm.
be good. It can never be uplifted. And if you're maximizing for time spent, you're always going to pull the cheap tricks. Like your guy on your podcast a few days ago said, it's not just one algorithm. It's a slew of algorithms. They have the world's power at their disposal.
Yeah.
And who do they have their guns pointed at? They have it pointed at our 11-year-olds and our 7-year-olds and our 14-year-olds. And somehow they're sleeping at night. We have a line up, which is, we don't want to hire executives that are driving Maseratis. We want to hire executives that are driving minivans.
I was hoping you
And
were gonna say minivans.
yeah, and the reason is, like, that's where my values are. Like, I'm carrying
Yeah.
my daughter to her crib. I'm carrying my son. I'm picking them up when they're sad. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm a youth pastor on the side. It's one of the things I do. But I'm listening to these stories of these kids. Week 1 of youth group, everyone's isolated. Everyone's on their phone. We got like 22 kids. Last night we had 98 kids. Everybody's fine. It's like, but they're in this like zone. They're in this zombie state. And we got
Mhm.
to pull our kids out of the zombie state.
Yeah.
And so we can do the anti-anxiety pills. We can do the Calm app. Those are
Mhm.
just fixing symptoms. We have to fix the root cause.
Mhm.
And, it's hard, Nicki, to say, you have a lot of listeners. It's hard to say to all your listeners, hey, no social media till 16. I would prefer that. That would be
Yeah.
great.
Right.
But they're having these are real fights they're having every day with their
Mhm.
13-year-old and their 15-year-old.
Yeah.
And Up is the solution that they've been looking for. It's something there they can say, hey, look, this is social media. You want fashion content, it's there. You want
Mhm.
gaming content, it's there. This is all the best creators from Meta and TikTok. We already have some of the world's top creators on our wait list. We haven't even launched the app yet. It's
Mm.
because the mission is just as powerful to the creators as it. You think the creator wants an AI girlfriend ad playing after their thing to prey on 9-year-old boys?
No.
Of course not.
No.
But Meta saying, "Hey, highest bidder, come on in," and we've prepped them for this
Mhm.
ad to work. That's what our algorithm does. So
How are you making money? So is it a subscription model? Are there ads? Like, what can we expect there?
yeah, so we're doing ads. Advertisers go through the same scroll happy filter, and
Okay.
so we're talking about we're talking about the same rigor and vetting process that we do for creators. So 5,000 or less creators, that's our vision. You only need 5,000 of the best of the best of the best to have a very robust algorithm for all users. So it's kind of like the major leagues. The players on the field are vetted, obviously, and the ads on the fence are vetted too. I got to AA in baseball. I played on the independent side, but like it was a dogfight to get in. And once I was there, I did everything I could to stay there, at that level or climb. And that's how our creators will act. And they already are. It's like, look, I'm in the club.
Yeah.
And we have our creators on a great rev share. And they don't have to fight, and they don't have to one up themselves on every video to try to convince an algorithm that their content, like they're in the club. They're going to get the impressions, a lot of them, a lot of them.
Okay.
And then with advertisers, we're doing them less frequently, like 3 to 5 times less frequently, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Maybe 7 times less frequently. And then we will have a subscription. We'll roll out a subscription that'll be ad free.
Okay.
And we'll have a really robust tools for parents. And that stuff will start free, and then we'll roll out a subscription eventually. So the more you move to subscription, Nicki, the less you depend on ads. But we have this. We have a very, very solid group of investors and partners and shareholders, and everyone will die for the Scroll Happy mission. And but that's been tainted before. You take Juul, this e-cig company. These are two smart Stanford kids that says, "Hey, let's take the harmful things out of cigarettes and let people kind of hang out with their friends and kind of smoke, but it's not bad for them." And they got in some trouble. They took $10 million from Philip Morris, and then the rest is history. The cigarette company, and now they're the opposite of a values-driven company, but. We're never going to make that decision. We will shut it down before we make that decision. But the good news is, Nicki, as much as you're fired up about this and I'm fired up about this, the Capital people are very fired up. They have daughters, they have sons, they have grandkids.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, where are all those people at these companies? Where are the parents that care about our kids too?
It's changing, Nicki. It is changing. I mean, it is every single day I'm having these executives slide into my DMs on LinkedIn. We're not even big yet, but the most talented, some of the most talented people on the earth are breaking free from that. And that's why I said, Silicon Valley's cyclical. You get about 30 years. That's your kind of run. So, cash it in while you can, because things change. And, once people discover something new and they start to crave something different, it kind of took Trader Joe's and, Whole Foods to come out and say, hey, there's a lot of people here that really want to eat healthy. And, we've had some of the people scrolling our Scroll Happy algorithm that when they're done, they're like, man, it felt like I was in Trader Joe's. I don't know. It's like, I was like, wow, that's such a powerful way of explaining it. It's like, when you're in Trader Joe's, I don't know if they have one where you are, Nicki, but like, it just feels good when you're in there, and all the products are going to taste good, and they don't have as many products as Walmart, and they don't have the Oreos and the Twinkies and all this stuff, and the 180 pack of Dr. Peppers or whatever. They have all the products there for the most part are really good for you, and they taste really good, and it's an enjoyable experience, and then you feel good after you eat it, and that's how Up's going to be. And so we really are after that niche market that wants to feel good.
Okay. Well, I want to ask you one more question about like child protection, because I recently read that most of the cyberbullying is actually happening on YouTube, which doesn't have direct messaging, right? So that means that a ton of cyberbullying is happening within comments. And so how are you going to protect kids from some of that smack talk within the comment sections?
Yeah, so we won't start with comments,
right?
So we won't start with comments, and we have a like and a super like for engagement.
Cute.
So no comments to start, no DMs to start. We will not roll out comments until that problem is solved. But I can tell you with AI, that problem is very solvable.
Okay.
I don't know if you notice how much better Siri's gotten, but tech is just. This is the renaissance. I mean, every single day we have these new features, and we get to tap into those features. It's like most things that we're doing at Up are not our own innovation. We're just plugging in other people's innovations. And those innovations can be used to harm or to uplift, to create anxiety or to create peace, to create insecurity or create confidence. So AI is the answer to comment moderation. There's an up-down feature that Reddit does that we think is probably a key to success. And then we probably are going to make comments a part of the subscription. where you have to be subscribed. That removes all the bot issues and a lot of the predatory behavior that happens
Big
from
time.
Pakistan and some places where, India or China or whatever,
Yep.
or Russia. So, we
Okay.
will not make a decision as a company unless it supports a Scroll Happy mission. Scroll Happy is what we wake up thinking about. It's what we go to bed thinking about. It's what we wake up in the middle of the night thinking about. Is how can we give people social media for social good, and how can we uplift and inspire a whole generation of people?
Amazing, Nick. I'm so excited this is really the year where I think we're going to see some solutions where we can give our kids options and not just say no, because that's been the struggle of their life for these parents. They're like, I can't keep them off of it, and they're accessing it on devices and sneaking it, on their friend's device or whatever. So if we give them an option, maybe they'll be less sneaky with it too.
Yeah.
Tell me about like the rollout timeline and where parents can go find out more.
Yeah, scrollhappy.com, scrollhappy.com. We will eventually buy up.com, but scrollhappy.com. It's owned by a railroad, so which is hilarious.
Why?
Yeah, so we
UP, Union Pacific?
Yeah, Union Pacific. Yeah.
Oh man.
Really boomer company.
Like $1 million
maybe
for that?
maybe the CMO is listening, and I had a couple of changes with them on LinkedIn, but
Okay.
it'll be a little while. But yeah, scrollhappy.com. Look, people have been coming out of the woodworks. I mean, I cannot imagine the intros I've gotten, the doors we're getting into. I mean, everyone wants to solve this problem.
Yeah.
The creators, the advertisers, the parents, the users, and we're not just for kids. When you build a social app, you're kind of an idiot not to go for Gen Z. They're the ones that adapt products early, and it used to be millennials, now it's Gen Z. But younger people are who kind of get new apps off the ground and viral, and they're really willing to try them. And every single Gen Z that we've focus grouped, Nicki, or we're doing clinical trials in Tulsa. Every single one scrolls for at least 2 hours before bed, and every single one of them said that they think that social media is a time waster. And that stat from Fortune that half of Gen Z wish social media never existed. And so it's kind of like this toxic thing where they're sort of like they're walking by it every day and they know they shouldn't go inside and it's bad for them, but they go inside and they spend 5 hours inside. So it's a real time saver. That the sales pitch to the youth is just like, non-regrettable minutes, or, imagine just really feeling good, like social media that really loves you and cares about you and wants you to feel awesome and go and succeed. And people, this generation is really smart, really, really smart. And they're really, really excited about it. And the feedback has been ridiculous. And then, just we could tell from their face and brain and all these things that they're much, much healthier, much happier, much more inspired. On the rollout, we are going to build a really, really large wait list before we start letting people in. So wait list of millions before we start opening up the doors.
Okay.
So your viewers should get on scrollhappy.com, join the wait list to sort of get in line. We just opened that up. The rollout will depend on the wait list. I'll show you guys something that I think is really interesting. And some people get overwhelmed by this many numbers, but I'm just such a fanboy about this. Okay, so this is a 16-year-old girl that I was looking at two nights ago. So these are two numbers. This is what we're looking at, and this is what TikTok's looking at. Okay? TikTok's looking at not actually how long she watches each video necessarily, but how long she spends each day. And some of your guests have covered that a lot better than I can cover that. But just know that this is a very arbitrary number to know. How long they watch it, comments, likes. This data here, valence is a industry term for how positive or negative something makes you feel.
Okay.
So valence is a combination of joy, anger, fear, anxiety, whatever, positive and negative emotions.
Okay.
So you see, she sees this wholesome video, this little meme. She gets a joy spike. This banter here, and look at how high these numbers are, 80s and 90s. This is very, very high. She's really interested in this content, and it makes her feel good. And then she sends it to a friend, and she does that for 16 seconds. So if you're looking at this, you're saying, man, TikTok's really good for youth, right? This 16-year-old girl should be on TikTok. Wrong. So then you get 48 seconds in. So we're still in the first minute here. So she sees these two guys beating each other up, and her anger and fear spike like that of if you've seen a bear. So this 200% spike is really, really never, almost never ever seen. It's like you're with your family, you're camping, and then a bear's there, and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is life or death. So that you're not meant to feel that. And then she sees this sort of unrealistic lifestyle kind of stuff, and she's actually more disinterested in that than the fighting, which is very interesting. And then again, the sort of like preteen dancing video or whatever, the provocative stuff. She was afraid and disgusted, likely comparing herself to those girls. And so what you see here is two polar opposites. And you're saying, well, how could they live on the same platform? And so what they're doing is they're showing you things you like and then things you hate, things you like, things you hate, things I like, things you hate. So it's like, this is almost like the wake up to kind of keep you in, keep you hooked, keep you addicted. This is the nicotine right here. If you're saying, okay, how is this cigarettes? It's cigarettes because of this. It's cigarettes because in 1 minute you made her feel like she saw a bear, and you made her compare herself to these unrealistic women and to these sort of preteens doing this sort of like twerking video. I don't think they use the word twerking anymore. I got to figure out what they say. You have a kid that age, you should know, Nicki.
She doesn't twerk.
Whatever the dance moves are these days.
Yeah.
So that's it. We're keeping people in this state. And, we are using these metrics. And, she only watched this video for 6 seconds, but she felt really good watching this video, and it was really great.
Yeah.
And, she watched this one for 15 seconds, and she hated it.
Yeah. Wow.
And so it is powerful when you can see the black and white statistics of like, wow, like it's not like they sell, we want to bring joy to the world. It's not bringing joy. They actually want to bring joy and then anger. And then they want to bring joy and then fear. And then they want to bring joy and then they want to bring disgust.
Yeah.
And so, we're unabashedly about scroll happy. And that doesn't mean it's some cheesy, just nature videos or whatever. We have unbelievable creators across sports, across nature, across animals, across fashion, entertainment, comedy. Like, this is some of the best content you could like I said, just the top shelf. And I really think that's what the future will be. The creator economy is getting so prostituted with AI, where you can make so many videos so fast and they'll just get better and better. I believe the future 5-10 years from now, you talk about that changeover of Silicon Valley. I believe the future is the curator economy. Like, how do you take this world of content that I couldn't possibly watch in a day, and how do you give me a really good 30 minutes or a really good hour and a half that I can tap into?
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. We're giving you the best of the best of the best, none of the harmful. And, if you want your anorexia content, you know where to go. If you want your sexual content, you know where to go. They're not coming to Up for that. If you want political content, like if you want to go argue with people and try to convince people online, which is not working anyway, go there. And you got your siloed platforms. You got your X for one view and you got your Blue Sky for another view. That's not Up. Up is where you come if you want to feel good, if you want to be in a good mood when you're done, if you want non-regrettable minutes, if you want to be entertained or inspired or educated in a way that feels like you're shopping at Trader Joe's.
Beautiful. It's so cool how you're studying the brain reactions. Like, that is really fascinating to me, and I can't wait to learn even more about that when you guys start to push more of that out. Because I think I could watch those slides all day. I think
we got to get a brain cap on you, Nicki. We got to get you out. We got to figure out what's in that brain.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to have you as part of the doc. Brain cap on. Yeah.
I would love to be involved. Okay, I'm going to include the link to scrollhappy. Did you say com? Sorry.
Yep.
Scrollhappy.com, and have people sign up for the wait list. Let's have continual conversations as you guys progress, because I'm so excited about this year and what this could mean for our kids. Like, giving them something that makes them feel good is such a great thing to be able to think about in the future for my children. Like, and not have to just default. Like, if they want to fit in with their friends, I have to default to Snapchat. Like, I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's why we got to go big too, Nicki.
Yeah.
And that's why we're using invite codes and all those things. It's not good enough for your daughter to be on it, but her friends need to be on it too. And it needs to be a shared experience thing. And we understand that.
Yeah.
But yeah, times are changing. I really think this next 5-10 years is going to be a pendulum swing. And that's how it works. It rotates. And, it's like kind of like bad times create, strong men kind of thing, and strong men create good times, good times create weak men, and weak men create bad times. It's like we just kind of came out of this bad time, like this 10% high school suicide attempt rate. Like, give me a break. That's not gonna happen.
No.
By the time my daughter's in high school, we are gonna fix this. And this crap culture, Nicki, was created by people no smarter than you and I, and no more connected than you and I. And now it's our turn, and that's just how it works. Pendulum swings, and now it's time for people to step up and build and create. And it's, you can wait on the government, and that's cool. And we have a good relationship with the UK government, for example, and they're really excited about Up, and a bunch of states are excited about Up, and they can write it into legislation for 15 and under, 12 and under, or whatever. And that's cool. And they need companies that do follow the rules, so then they can say, hey, look, we can do these. Like,
wow, why aren't you doing this?
Yeah, why aren't you doing this?
Yeah.
You're the ones with all the money. Why aren't you doing this?
You told us it wasn't possible.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're excited, Nicki. It's going to be a fun ride.
Okay. I'm fired up. Thank you, Nick, for this time. And I hope parents go sign up for the wait list for Up, and then we'll be in touch soon. I appreciate everything you're doing.
Awesome.